Happy birthday to you.
It's me.
Happy birthday to you.
They're singing to me right now, everybody.
Happy birthday,
Dear Shazam. That's me.
Happy birthday to you. Gonna give you a lap dance later.
I can feel you coming down like a pain to the snow, like a pain to the teen. I know.
It's gonna be terrible.
Happy birthday.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Do you want to make a podcast for your birthday?
That's why we're here.
Then let's do that. Hey everybody, I'm Dane Holland, and I feel like creating my own world tonight.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and I'm looking forward to 2022.
I'm Marcus, the deity known as iamELECTRICman.
I'm Austin Tiny Zent, and this is our mukbang episode.
Ooh, so cover your ears because you don't want to hear this on Nerd It Through the Grapevine, a podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And we haven't gotten to the point yet of chewing food for you. But I'm sure one day we will not be above it.
It will happen.
I would probably be above it because just the sound of people chewing. Like,
I hate it.
Like it makes me hurt, and I do it sometimes just for funny. But then I have instant regret because then I'm thinking about it. Like that's that chewy sound.
You have
happening.
to hear yourself when you're doing it too.
See, 2022 it's just beginning. Like this is the first podcast episode of 2022, and I'm very excited to let everybody know that there has been a continuation announcement. And I'd asked Dane earlier this week when I found out about it if Anime Talk was the podcast in which we
Oh, heck yeah.
we
With Matt St. Jack.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Bleach, one of my
Okay.
favorite animes of all time, which didn't stick to the manga as much as it could have because
Change your
of
clothes.
well Jesus. Here's the thing that happened with Bleach, and I'm going to give you all a backstory here. Bleach was a manga by Tite Kubo, and it revolved around Ichigo Kurosaki. He was a soul reaper or Shinigami.
Bless you.
And they're the people and entities that will escort your soul to the afterlife. And they're also there to fight soul-corrupting creatures known as hollows and other more powerful versions of said hollows. But anyway, the anime went really well and was really awesome. It was on Cartoon Network for a little bit, on Adult Swim, and I got to see a lot of it, and I loved it until the filler arcs. Because the problem you run into with anime that is, going on with current manga, you have to have something to keep the anime going while the manga catches up chapters for source material. And the arcs that they did for filler arcs were absolute garbage. I mean, I wouldn't call it, oh man.
HSFG?
Man,
It's not that bad, is it?
The arc where all the Zanpakutos came to life, yeah, that was hot, stinking, fecal garbage. And I think what Matt would probably agree with me.
So it was sexy.
Yeah, it was sexy.
No, it was pretty. Actually, there were a couple of Zanpakutos, which that's what their swords are called, Zanpakutos, spiritualized entities that are trapped inside of a sword form. You can call upon their power, as long as you have their trust and everything else like that. But
Anime's cool.
Anime is cool, but Bleach had an amazing run in the manga. And after the anime stopped, I was then forced to continue storying through the manga.
So you had to read.
And so I had to read.
Read the picture books.
But I didn't know just how far I'd have to backtrack in the manga's current releases to be able to actually get to where. So I started from the beginning. And there were a few differences in the show and the manga that, I don't want to really get into. But I found out that they just announced, since Bleach is over with, they've completed all of the final, arcs and chapters of the Bleach manga. They've completed it completely as a series. they've announced that the anime is coming back to complete the final arc, 1,000-Year Blood War. And there's a lot of key characters that come to their culmination within that in the manga. So there's a lot of characters that they're either like overpowered but just base formed. They couldn't control their Zanpakutos. His name was Kenpachi. He was the big guy with tall, spiky hair with bells dangling from it. Anybody?
Well, isn't that the stuff that you drink that's nasty that tastes?
No,
like
that's kombucha.
Oh,
that's kombucha.
I was confused too.
Yeah, that's kombucha.
Yeah, it's awful.
And
Makes you poop.
But yeah, I really like Bleach. They're bringing the anime back
drink
out
it.
to don't do that or spill it on your clothes unless it's white clothing, and then that really wouldn't to clean it. It's coming back out. I'm excited for it. That's going to be in October, so that's a long way away, but still not so far away as far as media related stuff goes. Like that, if you get an announcement for something, it's usually years before you're going to be ending up seeing the material. But they've already got little pictures and stuff like that out of it now.
Unless Nintendo announces it, because they do an awesome job of just like, hey, here's a new game coming out next month. And then, like, you just don't hear anything about it until they tell you, like, it's going to be yours very soon, as opposed to just, hyping you up for something for years and then it end up being.
They do that?
That's
Anthem,
HSFG.
people who created Anthem, you made us wait 2 extra years, and you delivered us a poop ball. Like, parts of it were great. The animations were cool that were there. The suits were kind of cool. The story was garbage. So mad.
The thing that you just said about somebody announcing something and then bringing it to you within the next month kind of brings me to my second arc of my topic of things I'm looking forward to for 2022. And this web series actually started 5 years ago. And I know quite a few people have seen a lot of these videos and like them a lot. But their very first episode was titled Monkey Bread.
Delicious.
And this was two best friends that would get into a very small area.
Some would say a tiny area.
And they would prepare food with each other and have a really fun time and not really follow any recipes that well and not do a very good job of showing everybody what they needed, but somehow it became a thing and it was fun. And they're going to start up again this year, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Yes, Best Friends Tiny Kitchen.
Best Friends Tiny Kitchen.
It's us. We talk about all the time. If you've ever seen them, we've had a lot of people keep telling us like, "Hey, when are you guys going to make another episode of that?" Making a cooking show, whether it's bad or good, takes a long time. Like on a meal that would take you 20 minutes to make, if you're making it for a filmed situation, that's an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And then like video editing and like doing all this other stuff. So it takes a lot of time that we're going to make time for this year.
Yep.
Because you have your very own tiny kitchen here.
I do.
In your own home that you
do.
own.
It's the biggest of the tiny kitchens in which we've possessed, but I've been in larger kitchens that weren't even large kitchens.
So Best Friends Medium Kitchen.
Yeah.
See, I think something that would be absolutely fun to do with the new installments of Best Friends Tiny Kitchen is, since the kitchen is slightly larger, maybe the cast should be too.
Guys.
Oh.
Because that kitchen's going to be so much more tiny if we've got four bros in
It'll be
there.
so much more tiny if Tiny's there.
Exactly.
We would be able to get so much more done with 4 sets of hands. Mathematically.
My thoughts are brimming with recipes and fingerings and things.
You just want footage of me stuffing my face with it, don't
Honestly,
you?
Yes.
the reaction footage of you eating something good that we made, or your reaction footage of you eating something bad that we made.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had an episode that it did not go well. Not the gravy episode, because that was one that wasn't going to taste good no matter what. But the one where we were making something and it turned into like sand, basically. But then when we ended up, and I was very upset because it was going so poorly because it was a fan suggested item for us to make.
Wait, was it the pinwheels? Like we were making the dough for the
Something
pinwheels?
like that, yeah. And I was so disappointed. And we sat down to eat it, and it was like not that bad. So yeah, it's a real roller coaster. It's on YouTube. Best friends.
Those are the moments you got to capture, though.
Tiny ink period.
I want to see you freaking out because it's not going your way, Dane.
Yeah.
Oh, that happened to me on there because you see, I had an edible of the terpene variety.
An edible arrangement?
Yeah, an edible arrangement of the terpene variety, and then I decided I'd make gravy as the pizza sauce for our breakfast pizza, and I've made gravy so many times in my life, but under the influence of said edible, I got a quarter cup of flour to a hell of a lot of milk and some bacon grease, mixed up with an entire cup of flour in my brain because I just took the measuring cup and I didn't even pay attention. Like, that's a quarter cup, plunk. And then I'm stirring it in because we had a lot of bacon grease. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna mix. This is gonna mix. This is
Play-Doh.
This is Play-Doh. This isn't gravy at all.
You made a roux.
No, a roux would have been soupy. This turned into
roux start as a paste.
This was a poo.
Oh, this was like if bread dough and bacon grease.
I mean, I saw the episode.
It's like a focaccia bread. I think it's what it called.
Focaccia?
Yeah, focaccia bread. I think it's something like that. It would be extra oily if we were to end up being able to bake it, but I don't. It was a bad time.
You just couldn't canine finish it.
Yep.
No. That was 5 years ago that we started making those?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
It doesn't really seem like that.
No.
We made a bunch of keto stuff on there while we were on our stretch of keto life.
But now we eat whatever we want, and that opens it up to way more possibilities of disaster.
Yeah. And that's, kind of like this podcast that we do now. Like, we come into it with general ideas, and then sometimes it's a complete disaster, and we laugh our asses off about it.
Even more fun. So yeah, we'll be making those soon. I got a better camera. We've got lapel mics.
Yeah.
We've got tripods for other phone cameras and stuff for multi-angles. Like, it's going to be a whole different situation because I've learned how
8 hands.
use a whole lot. 8 hands.
8 hands. 8
maybe
hands,
a foot.
8 feet. 4 wieners.
7
4
testicles.
ani.
It depends on how cold it is.
Actually, I think like more like
Like 9.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least
like 9.
9 testicles. Yeah, you're right.
I wasn't accounting for Marcus's 3.
No, he's actually got 4. I've
Yeah,
got
he
1.
does have 4. I've seen them. It's wild. Talk about a grape cluster.
It's the podcast where 4 best friends gather weekly to count our testicles, and you'll never guess.
Well, I mean, this year for New Year's, we did watch Marcus's extra balls drop, so it was quite amazing.
oh, I just choked on my
Balls.
oxygen.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Bleach and Best Friend's Tiny Kitchen. That's kind of what I want to talk about because one of them's coming out in October and the other one's coming out real soon because I feel like it's time. I feel like it's time that the boys got back to bacon and making some stuff.
That's going to be a great opportunity for us to utilize our Patreon a little bit more. Also, the Discord.
Yeah.
Because with Patreon, we want to have things that you get to have before everyone else. So it'll be fun to film these and then throw it on there, a week early. And then with the Discord, you can do something like that live on Discord, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can stream things.
No, that'd be perfect. Like a
think
live Best Friends Tiny Kitchen would be
that's
amazing.
What I did with the Star Wars Christmas special, streamed it right on that boy.
Perfect.
So I think that would be fantastic if we could just put up, post a camera in there and we can, just have it live on the Discord while we're recording an episode, just so people can got to get a behind the scenes look at it. Because when they watch an episode, it's going to be like, I think like 30 minutes or something like that. Let me see.
This kind of sounds like you're starting a Twitch stream.
They range. We could.
No, these are like, okay. The work that goes into these is probably like 4 to 5 hours between making stuff and then editing stuff.
Yeah.
And it is a 4-minute episode.
We have a 4-minute episode?
Yeah, Monkey Bread was 4 minutes. Monkey Bread was
so
4
long to
minutes. Okay, the keto cheesecake muffins were a 10-minute episode. I mean, it's the John Snowballs, that was a 5-minute episode.
Wow. So see, it doesn't even take much of your time if you just want to hop in there and watch them.
No.
We're much younger. We're almost 5 years younger in those videos.
Dane had way more facial. Nope, I had way more facial. Nope,
It changes.
It bounces
Yeah,
around.
it bounces.
We bounce around. It's the battle of the beards. Now Tiny's going to step up in there and just be like,
I've got a better beard than you guys have. Look at that luscious man beard.
so that's a good way to get into 2022. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back.
To the kitchen.
So I just want to start by saying, rest in peace, Betty White. You was one of the greatest. Not to bring it down, but now let's bring it back up. So, how many times have you been sitting at your D&D table or your Magic the Gathering table and just went, tired of being on Wizards junk all the time?
Wizards of the Coast. owns
Wizards of
both
the
those
Coast. I
things.
mean, like, I'm always on their junk. I want new, fresh, hip junk. Well, I'm bringing you the new, fresh, hip junk.
I want to be on your hip junk.
New fresh hip junk.
I mean, it's not really new because they're on the 5th edition right now, but it's
yeah.
not Wizards. We're talking about Vampire the Masquerade. It is published by World of Darkness.
I don't know if I quite believe in listening to you talk about this. If it's going to be one of them role-playing games and it's World of
is.
Darkness that's made it, that is recipe for devil.
I mean, there is the devil in there in some of the modules.
Wait, the devil? Like,
Yeah.
the devil's in there?
There's
That's
some like
exciting.
crazy modules that I've listened to people play.
What about
where they're,
Saddam?
Like, with the devil and stuff. I mean, I don't know.
If you're going to have Satan, you got to bring his boyfriend.
I mean, makes sense.
yeah, guy.
But Vampire the Masquerade is a tabletop role-playing game like D&D, but not like D&D. It's set in modern day, and instead of all the other races and stuff, you have clans, different vampire clans, and that determines different things in regards to your character. And the cool thing about VTM that differs from D&D is D&D, you have a backstory that's like a supplement to your roles to create your character, which is a supplement to your races and stuff and blah, blah, blah. Well, in VTM, your backstory helps build your character and a lot where your skill points are. So it's really cool because, like, you know, you can literally be anything you could be in the real world before you was embraced. The embrace is being turned into a vampire.
That sounds nice.
I know, it makes it sound just nice and sweet.
Like to become a vampire, you get hugged.
Yeah, you
don't
get
bitten.
embraced and you become kindred.
Oh.
Because that's what they call each other, is kindred.
Kindred Lamar.
But at the same time, I was kind of flipping through there, and it said, "The blood is your master."
Yes.
Like, you will basically be serving the blood.
Yes,
now.
you are driven by hunger. It is never fully sated. Some abilities that you activate, you roll hunger die, and it determines whether or not your hunger increases and how successful you are in doing your ability that comes with your clan. Because each clan has its own set of abilities, and each clan has its own set of traits. There's 7, I believe, main clans. There's a couple others in some other editions that are not in my 5th edition book.
I love Ezekiah animes because you get to be yourself going into another world. But in like games and stuff, do I have to start out as myself and then continue on, or can I be a different person that I've created and then continue on?
You're a different person that you created.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Because what I'm thinking is, I'm a bug exterminator in a previous life, and I've lived in this small town in Texas. And until I finally was embraced by the vampirism.
Yeah.
And I could hear the phone call that I would make to Satan, and it would be, Lucifer Morningstar, you don't know who I am, but I know where you live.
What's this referencing?
Oh, God, come on.
Dale, is that you?
King of the Hill, come on.
Okay.
I mean,
Just
I'm there
imagine,
now. Yeah.
Dale from King of the Hill.
As a vampire?
I mean, he would definitely be a Malkavian for sure. But yeah, it's kind of like that. You create this backstory of who you was and what you did and why you were doing what you were doing and blah, blah, blah. And then, you figure out what clan you're going to be. Then you like, well, my sire was like my best friend growing up, but I didn't know he was a vampire. But I noticed he always looked young for his age, and he just never seemed to age. It was wild. And then I got to about 20, and he was like, hey, bro, I'm a vampire. You want to be one too? And you're like, what? What do you mean?
Embrace me.
And then you get embraced, and now you're kindred too. And then you get inducted into the coterie, and you meet the whole, slew of other kindred. and you just get indoctrinated into their society and how it's laid out.
Is there a sweaty, overly muscular man with a saxophone involved in Vampire the Masquerade, or is that just the Lost Boys?
There can be. I mean, there can be. There can be anything you can think of in this book.
So,
and I'm smacking it with words.
And you mentioned the difference being like your backstory kind of makes up your stats, basically.
Yeah.
So, like in D&D, most of the time, I would say 90% plus, you roll for your stats.
Yeah. There's no rolling.
There's no
actually
rolling.
decide.
So if I say I grew up like playing like a lot of sports, so my athleticism or my acrobatics or whatever, those points would be higher.
There is a character sheet around the back of the book.
Yeah, what is it?
Give me
what does
just
it take?
a second, and I will get there.
I want to see I saw it earlier. What does it take
Well, you get
to do that?
You get so many dots. Like you get 1 4-dot skill. Here it is. And you're picking your attributes. So let's just say you're a football player, and so you get 1 set of 4 dots. So as a football player, you'd need a lot of strength, right? So you'd put 4 dots in strength, which means 1 dot is I'm a little below average in this skill. 2 dots, I'm a little above average. 3 dots, I'm pretty good. 4 dots, I'm really good. 5 dots, I'm pretty much the best there is in the world. So you would say, I want 4 dots in strength. Cool. I need some dexterity, so I'm going to put the 3 dots there. You get like so many sets of 3 dots, so many sets of 2 dots.
Okay.
And you lay them out in your attributes.
Yeah.
And then you get so many dots for your skills. So, which would be athletics, brawl, craft, drive, firearms, larceny, melee, so on and so forth. So based on the actions of your background, like say you're a professional football player, but you dealt drugs on the side, okay? So you would be like, okay, I'm going to dump some good amount of dots into like Streetwise. So I know I can figure out, who would be good to sell to and who wouldn't. And Subterfuge, because obviously if I accidentally choose wrong and I'm talking to a cop, I need to be able to lie. So you just drop these dots where they need to go based on, the type of person that you was.
That's pretty cool because that's almost the opposite of with D&D, because a lot of times you'll roll your stats, you'll look at your abilities and your attributes and go, okay, this is the kind of character that I could see having this kind of build and what they would go through for it to make sense. But in this, it's the opposite, which is really cool.
Pretty much. And your disciplines are basically your abilities you get from your clan and your sire and your generation, yada, yada. So you can do like blood sorcery. Which, Marcus, how does that sound?
Awesome.
That sounds pretty metal.
So you can do things
just edgy enough for me.
Yeah. So you can do things like one thing is like I don't remember what it's called, but basically if you're awakened in the middle of the day, you do this ritual where it feels like you've had a full, day's rest and like you've awakened at night like normal, and you're not hampered by being awakened early and being awakened in the daylight. But you have to roll a hunger die and spend points to do that.
What's the equivalent of
Yes, Daddy.
What's the equivalent of that in our real world of being like in the middle of the day and you do this one thing that pretty soon you just feel like you've got a great night's sleep? Is it smashing back espresso? Is that would probably be the same thing?
That energy drinks, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Or meth. Just whatever.
I'm sorry?
Huh? I said math.
Oh, okay.
Algebra?
Yeah, well, yeah, that could be pretty
Calculus?
exciting.
I mean, some
if you got
people
some
just-
really good equations that really get you
Trigonometry
the blood pumping.
spins
Yeah.
my wheels.
If I'm needing to get a little bit more pumped up, I dance. I like to dance it out a little bit. Get rid of some weight that I got going on. So I'll just put my phone on whatever music I want to and just be obnoxious for a minute and dance it out. It's most likely going to be Backstreet Boys, everybody, but it's that's just it gets me feeling dancey.
So that's your ritual.
Yes,
is
that's
dance.
awesome. Yeah,
An unexpected poo
Yeah.
sometimes can just turn your day around.
you're right.
You're right. It can go one of two different ways.
Especially if that poo is like 5 to 10 minutes after a previous
I usually
poo.
don't poop at this time of day, but
Here we are.
dadgummit, I want to right now, and I think I kind of need to.
Have you ever
Nice.
had one of those real good craps to where you're like, okay, I'm good. You're just like something feels kind of off, and then like 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, I gotta go again, and then you finish it off, and it's like,
Oh,
feel properly emptied.
You do.
Today-
Is that a Halo theme?
Yeah, it was.
Today, we were sitting on the couch playing, or let's see, you and Trudy were playing pool on the Switch in the living room, and you had to evacuate during the game, but you wanted to finish the game first.
Yes.
And as soon as the game was over,
Evacuate.
see, I'm on the other side of the house, and I hear coo, 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 and this just explosion out of a butthole. And apparently, as soon, because Trudy explains it as he ran into the room, and their bathroom is in their room, and as soon as his body went out of sight from their room to the bathroom, she heard the explosion. She said there was no time for him to get his pants off. We don't know how scientifically it was possible
Okay.
for you to round that corner and evacuate as quickly as you did.
Okay, now imagine you've got a set of pants or a set of elastic like waistbands, something on a dolly. Not like a human doll, like a dolly with two wheels.
Okay.
So you're rushing really quick on those dollies' two wheels, and then you just turn heel and pull the pants down immediately while the dolly's tipping backwards. So that's how you just got to time it right, because it's just turn pull.
I understand completely.
See, I just assumed you went in the bathtub or something.
No, because that's a tiny thing to do. Tiny couldn't make it to the toilet to align himself correctly to not make a big enough mess, so he just turned ass to the shower, let it blast in there, and hosed it off afterwards.
I have done that. It was a real bad time for me.
and for your roommate that was taking a shower.
Well, my roommate is my dog.
Yeah.
She walked into the bathroom and she's like, I don't want any part of this. And then she rapidly exited the bathroom, which is a rare occurrence for most dogs because usually they want to be there and protect their masters. But she's like, you're on your own with this one, buddy.
Dad, it smells like egg salad that's been in the sun.
I mean, I've had some strange experiences with my butthole. That's all I'm trying to say.
Would you say that besides Pathfinder, is Vampire the Masquerade one of the most popular non-D&D tabletop games?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Pathfinder is trash. Don't ever try Pathfinder. Well, version 2 may be better. That's what I've heard.
Pathfinder is great value D&D.
Yes, version 1 is hot, stinking, fecal garbage. There's too many options, and most of them are bad. VTM is, from what I've seen, I've not yet got to play, but we're gearing up to do so. It looks to be a whole lot of fun because it's like modern day, which I've wanted to kind of play with. You can't really do that with Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't work.
Totally homebrewed when
You would have to
use the
reskin
mechanics.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this, you don't have to. And the dice system is kind of strange. You only need just a bunch of D10s.
For Vampire?
Yeah, for Vampire. There's no critical fumble. And on a critical success, you have what's exploding 10s. So if you roll a 10, you get to roll it again. And as long as you keep hitting 10s, you get to keep rolling them suckers. Over, I think it's 6 is a success. And so all of your actions you want to take are based on how many successes. So there is a little bit of a gradient, but like say you want to punch a dude in the face. So your storyteller, which in Vampire, the DM is called a storyteller, he tells you to roll strength and brawl. So you look at your dots, and that's how many D10s you get to roll. So you
Okay.
build a
Dice
dice
pool.
pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you roll that, and he may or may not tell you how many successes you need to land the punch. Let's just say it's 3, and you're like, I've got 3 successes. It's like, you punch that boy right in the mouth. You know.
Now you get to embrace him.
Well, I mean, that's like way down the road.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, so, and you get to build your predator types, which is basically how you feed. You can be what's called a bagger. So basically you go to a blood bank, you get a bag, you drink from that. There's a consensualist where you only feed from people who are willing to do so. There are those that have a herd, which is, you know, you got a bunch of people you feed from. They may or may not be aware of that, but that's what you do. So it's more complex in some ways, but more simplified in other ways. So very cool system. Werewolf the Forsaken is very similar, except it's werewolves instead of vampires. It runs on the
Same people. Same people. that
Same
make it?
people. World of Darkness.
So you can probably mix.
That's so you could probably cross them over.
You could.
Yeah.
You could. You absolutely could,
definitely
because
see that.
a lot of the roles are kind of similar.
So the system is not the same. Like
I haven't read
Right.
into Werewolf
Gotcha.
very much, but I've watched and listened to several campaigns, and they seem very similar.
right.
On like the same basic D10 system.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
It
That
does.
puts me in the mood to role play or play some kind of RPG, right? Some
Yeah.
kind of world building or something.
Yeah, I have world builder's disease. So I'm one
Okay.
of those people that just sits around and creates these game worlds like Vampire the Masquerade, but then never gets around to like finishing them or playing them because it's always just off to the next idea.
Yeah.
But since we've mentioned on the podcast several times about the great Cosmic Grapevine or Vineyard, I just figured that we would take an already convoluted story and make it even more convoluted
Yes.
by playing this little world building game called Dawn of Worlds that I found on the internet.
Like
Seems really fun.
DON of worlds, like
Dawn.
a person,
Yeah,
a
like
man
Dawn.
named Dawn. Oh, okay,
Like
Like Don
dusk and,
Cheadle.
like Dusk and Dawn
right, gotcha.
of Worlds. And this is the first time we've ever joined topics, Dan.
Yes, Marcus and I are going to combine forces for the second half of this episode.
Ha.
Ha! So enjoy it or die,
Okay.
We're basically creating Grapevine lore here, in my eyes.
as gods.
Unless yes, we are taking the roles of divine creatures who are starting with literally just tabula rasa,
Can I have three
blank
heads?
slate.
I'm sorry.
Can I have three heads?
You're God
You're
in
go-
the Grapevine
yeah,
universe.
yeah, whatever you
can
want,
do
man.
whatever you want.
Okay, I want 47 heads.
That's so many heads. Which one do I
You
talk
take
to?
many forms.
Yes.
Okay. Good answer.
So basically, I mean, I want to keep this part very brief, but basically, the way the game works is you start with eons or ages, and we roll before each turn 2d6 to see how much points we get, and then we use those points to spend on this little table of powers to make things happen. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to like build the world from like the landscape to the people who are walking across the land and creating religions and armies and all these kinds of things. And hopefully it's going to be really ridiculous. So
So is this a callback to you found a field bigger than you?
no, it's a similar exercise.
Yeah.
That was a game called Alone Among the Stars, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds
This
about
one's
right.
called Dawn of Worlds.
Yeah. We had
Well,
so much
I
fun
do
doing
want to
that,
find
yeah.
a field bigger than me.
Now,
Well, there you go. You can make that happen as a god of the grapevine.
yeah.
Nice.
Now, and just to state this beforehand, this will be a canon like thing in the Grapevine universe. Like what we're creating now, everyone listening is witnessing the creation of a world, like as it's happening.
The whole world.
A whole world. You're there from the beginning.
Take
It's
that,
very
Stephen
exciting.
King, and your cosmic turtle vomit.
So,
I mean, we're all Cosmic Turtle Vomit.
We'll find a way to steal that from him.
Normally, the way this game is played, and when I say normally, I say every time, you start off with a blank map. What shape do we need to make? Because we all need to be kind of writing and drawing this map as it becomes live. So what shape do we want our landmass to be as we're doing this?
I have a couple ideas in mind.
Sure you do.
Do you think it would be a good idea for, since we have our 4 deities here, if we did some type of map or some type of area that has 4 separate quadrants to where that's totally related to what we've done?
We could. I was thinking 2 massive, like almost butt cheek looking things with a crevice in the middle, and we can decide what that crevice is as we go. Marcus?
So I just went ahead and rolled for my initial power. And
Okay.
I've got 7.
Okay.
So I don't know if I really wanted to start, but
Yeah.
we can all just go ahead and roll and see how much power we have.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we're going to consult a table to see
Right.
how we're going to build this world.
Oh, yeah.
So like down to the landscape and all.
Yeah.
So if you want to make butt cheek continents, be my guest.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go ahead and shape the land.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put I'm eager to put my godly touch on this new barren world.
Yes.
And so I'm just gonna shape land and create like a volcano right in the right directly in the middle of the map.
Okay.
So are we all drawing this together?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the map look like? 2 big butt cheeks? And the middle of the map's got a giant boil on it.
Well, right now,
yeah.
right now it's just starting with a volcano. So like, this is the only landmass we have at the moment, right? Is that what we're saying?
Well, it looks kind of like a cat's face. Is it like this, Marcus?
If you make it like that on your turn.
No, I mean that was your volcano.
So the first thing we have created on our map is a volcano right in the middle. Is it active? Or is that decided later?
I mean, I'm not going to create a volcano to not erupt.
Well, I don't know, man. You might just like think old dead volcanoes are cool.
You know me.
Yeah, you're right. That's a dead volcano isn't metal at all.
So I'm making a ball-shaped continent that houses Marcus's volcano.
There you go.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right.
There you go.
And that continent is right at the apex of where the two testicles become one
Okay.
in the cosmic nutsack.
Continent.
We'll call it. Can we name the continent?
Yeah,
while we're
please do.
at it? Testicoolio.
Oh no.
You see, my continent that I've made has the volcano in the dead center of it, but from an aerial view, the continent looks like what Tiny said, but the continent has the volcano in dead center of it, so it's less of like a boil and more of like a butthole.
So
You reshaped Testicoolio?
I just want people to understand, like, as we're drawing this map, Austin has decided an entire page needs to have the volcano taking up the whole thing.
I mean, I did intend
I've got one
for it to be a big volcano.
I've got one side of that page left for my note taking.
Okay, good.
And then I've got a whole other book full of pages I can make notes on.
But I was about to say there's so many pages,
I
right?
ain't wasting trees. I'm making memories.
So how many points did you spend?
3.
Okay.
So there is a 10 power option for advanced civilization, but
There's no civilization.
That's what I was going to say. I have no civilization there yet. Let's see. What about a avatar? Would that be like if I was to create an avatar? Would that be me creating me as the god to go to this
To be
planet?
creating like a physical manifestation of your godly divine self on the mortal plane.
Here we go. I'm
So
spending.
you would be stepping foot onto the scrote.
Okay.
It's pronounced Testicoolio.
Yes, you would be walking on Testicoolio in a mortal shell
Okay. In a mortal shell.
or whatever you want.
Okay, I'm creating an avatar with my 10 power that I've got. And the avatar is going to be the original deity that stepped foot on this planet, on Testicoolio.
Okay.
And now I'm jealous
Well, yeah.
because I wanted to be the first one to go.
His name is Gene.
Is he mean?
And he's here to make sure that he whips this planet into shape.
He's got his belt.
Mean Gene has come here with his belt, and he's ready to whoop this planet into shape. You better cut your butthole off and quit all that spewing over there, because I'm going to come and whoop you.
With my 6 points, I would like to shape. I want to shape some climate. So Testicoolio and a volcano. I want this to be a frigid landscape.
Nice.
You're gonna shrivel up
Yeah.
Testicoolio?
Yeah, I am.
Just rattle on the crease.
And yes,
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a frigid, cold area right in the middle of this world.
So you're making like a frozen wasteland of Testicoolio?
Yes. Yeah.
Of the whole place, or just the
Yeah.
the
No,
middle?
Testicoolio.
Testicoolio is a
the
cold
area.
place.
I have to
of
say, because
Testicoolio.
however area you were able to shape, I feel like, because you're supposed to kind of go with like hexes, like being like 1D inch, you know what I mean? But we're not worrying
Yeah.
about scale exactly right now.
No.
But I think we should keep it to maybe just a continent, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, this continent's more like, I mean, think Antarctica, you know?
I'm
Right.
good with that.
Whole places like that. So yeah, we have a frigid Testicoolio with the volcano right in the middle of it. I have 4 points remaining, and for 3 of those points, I want to Let's see. So in this world, it's like basically like to me, the way I've got it is like a square map that we have flat out, and we're kind of shaping it like that. I want the upper left quadrant of it. I want to draw a line and make a triangle kind of in the corner, and I want that to be ocean. I want that to be water. Yeah, right up there.
Making an
Up in
ocean,
the top
huh?
left. Yeah, I want some. I'm gonna get some water going on over here.
So beside Testicoolio is an ocean?
No, just a corner of the top left.
So the top left corner of Testicoolio is ocean?
Yes.
Okay. My map is not drawn to scale if anybody wants to know.
You don't want many scales on your testicoolio.
I'm going to hold on to my 2 points that I have.
How do I depict frozen testicoolio?
I drew ice cubes.
I drew like a little arrow, and it says frigid climate. After I circled the volcano and put cold spot.
So you effectively froze my volcano.
Yes. When I asked you if it was inactive or not.
So I'm gonna rename it Testicoolio Tundra on my map. Maybe we just all agree on rule of cool that that's a frozen volcano.
Yeah, I was
rule of
exactly.
cool.
I was gonna help you save some points there, bro.
All right, I'm saving my points then, and I believe that would be the end of the round.
So my volcano has ice cubes coming out of it now. Everybody look, my volcano has ice cubes.
So that would be
coming
like
out
the
of it.
first, basically eon. Like that would be like the first age almost. So that's like thousands and thousands of years have passed in just those turns. Unless you just want to go one more round in the first stage.
We need one more. I think we need some more. At least one more.
I put one big ice cube coming out of the nose-shaped volcano in the middle of the butthole of Testicoolio.
Testicoolio. Are we spelling it like Coolio the rapper too?
That was how I spelled it.
Yeah, that's how I have it too.
Coolio the rapper.
All right, so
Okay,
it's back
we
to
need
me,
to-
huh?
yeah.
So now we all roll again.
Yeah.
Cool. So since I'm a jealous god, I'm going to create my avatar to go down into the world also.
Okay.
Just out of pure jealousy. I probably didn't think this through very good. But pure jealousy, I'm creating my avatar. It's basically just me.
Oh, it's just you.
Yeah, I'm
It's
getting
Marcus.
ready. I'm getting ready to take a big pee
Oh my gosh.
Too.
in the next 1,000 years or so. One of my long pees.
I think what I will do is create a mountain range going like in a backwards C half moon around the Testicoolio tundra. See in my
Oh,
illustration.
surrounding Testicoolio.
Which we'll have to post pictures of our maps on our Discord and our social media, so
Absolutely.
people will be able to know what the heck's going on.
Mountains.
We may pick the
Mountains.
What did you name these mountains?
Four purple
haven't-
mountains shaped like sea.
I haven't named the mountains because as the god of these mountains, I want the peoples that once populate this land, I want them to be able to choose. I'm not going to give it a name myself.
Good choice.
I'm going to go ahead and shape climate for 2 points.
Okay.
And
Which portion?
I want the climate to be on the right testicles, the closest to the mountain range. Say quarter the, let's say like 1/3 of the right testicle over here is just going to be Sahara Desert before you get to the ocean that surround that not Sahara, like your
desert.
desert climate on the right side.
Desert climate on the right side of the place that's already a frozen tundra?
Yes.
I mean, deserts are not all hot. Alaska is technically a desert,
Oh, yeah.
so it's like a tundra.
Just icy, just sand.
Ooh, icy sand.
Ice sand. The icy hot desert.
The icy hot desert. It's made of icy hot.
What's inside the packets? If you were to open the icy hot packets, that's what this desert floor is made of.
Desert tundra. The snow dunes of Testicoolio.
Nice. So I'm going to spend 3 points to shape land.
Okay.
And at the apex of each of the testicles, there's going to be a river that comes up to a Y at the at the point where the testicles, if there was a shaft, there would be shaft. And these rivers will be carbonated.
Oh,
Carbonated water rivers.
yeah.
Like Perrier or La Croix.
How do you draw a river?
Squiggly lines. Mean Gene and Marcus meet. We're gonna do some changes right now in the way the world was before the catastrophe when the two deities first met.
Ooh. Okay, tell me more about this.
I heard that you was over here trying to be another deity in these parts, and these are my frozen balls if I ever seen them myself, so you're gonna have to get out of here.
Well, I figured you'd like it. It's for the podcast.
What the hell is a podcast? This is a continent of Testicoolio.
It's called metafiction. Don't you get it?
I'm gonna have to whoop you into shape. Don't make me get my belt, boy.
And with one great sweep of his mighty belt, the catastrophe that shook the planet took place.
How does that shape the world?
As he swung, okay, as he swung, and what he thought was Marcus bowing to him, he missed with his mighty strike of his belt buckle, and he collided with the volcano,
Oh, no.
with the catastrophe that unleashed the pools of lava.
Ice lava.
Sounds like a
So basically, slushy water.
Yeah, slushies. Like a gas station slushy machine.
from underneath. I mean, it would be from underneath.
Okay, so this was at the volcano then. So we met at the volcano?
And you know what? I've got 2 points left. And due to the catastrophe that unleashed the complete underneath section of that volcano to melt the entirety of the ice that is over the world in the great catastrophe, I'm using my 2 more points to reshape climate. And that will take all the ice land that is there and turn it into just murky water. You know,
Like where you're wading through the water.
yes, you have to
Swamp.
wait.
So
Yes,
everything
like
is
almost
swampy.
swampy.
How do you draw a swamp?
Just draw testicles that have water droplets on them.
So basically, what I'm getting is a very cold swamp. So like the ground is like slushy.
Nice.
But it was the catastrophe in the end of the first age.
See,
That's pretty good.
At the end of the first age, when Testicoolio became moist.
okay. Awesome.
How many maps are we drawing here, buddy?
No.
It's a world map.
I've already got 2 maps drawn.
That's your fault for not scaling.
I've got the scribble map, then what looks to be a vagina hugging a banana. I'm not a very good land drawer, cartographer.
I mean,
I'm
look at
not.
mine. Mine looks awful too.
I mean, I'm not a cartographer. Look, that's definitely a vagina hugging a banana.
It's
From
not
the
the
side.
point. It really does. It really does.
That was not my intention, but that's where I'm living.
Testicoolio busted open, creating the land masses, basically.
So
Pangea.
basically, it's kind of appropriate that this one looks like a vagina.
Yes, it's the mother of all.
It's the mother of all continents.
Yeah, because with that volcano splitting and you already having the rivers that ran everywhere, that means that there's already those little tributaries and splits in the land. So I'd say that'd be enough of a crack in the fissuring of things to actually split along where the rivers were running.
Yeah, because there's kind of 3 land masses right there.
So Mean Gene broke open the
Then-
fountains of the deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my 4th map I've drawn, by the way. I'm not a very good cartographer.
I'm not either. Okay, well, since I feel like my deity feels like this Mean Gene character that Austin's pretending to be, because I know who he really is. Let's be real. I'm like, I feel like he's kind of trashed our creation. You know,
Right.
he's kind of, it's like, pick up your room. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you're trashing the house.
Make me the great destroyer.
Yeah.
Mean Gene, the destroyer of buttholes.
Mean Dream, the Destroying
So
Machine.
I'm gonna create an aquatic race. Maybe they originated underneath the volcano in the underneath the ice.
Okay.
So,
in,
like,
in
the-
the,
they're
in
early-
the area between the lava and the ice?
Right, and the microbial forms in the first age kind of spawned into this kind of aquatic race of people known as the
Little swimmers.
Little Swimmers.
Perfect.
That's a sperms joke.
I know, because of the shape of the land when it starts. I'm just going to go ahead and advance them, too. So, like, not only have they rose to power, to prominence in the Second Age, they've also discovered, like, some type of magic that they can harness to help them become, like, more of a dominant species.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So they're kind of like Vikings if they didn't need boats.
Cool.
So they're not so
They
little
can just
swimmers
swim
anymore.
everywhere.
They're not so little swimmers.
Like if Vikings could get around like dolphins could.
Okay.
So they can raid all over the place. They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
need boats. They can just sneak up from underwater and
That's
get you.
incredible.
Nice.
The little swimmers, man. Watch out for them.
I got 15 points after that. Okay, so for 6 points, I'm going to create a race within the mountain range, and they are goat-like people. So, what would those be, like satyrs? Is a satyr?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, yeah. So I want some satyr-like.
SATYR.
Yes, SATYR.
What's your race
So-
called of the satyr style?
Cheeky boys.
Horny boys.
Dane made horny boys.
Yeah. I'm advancing them to be so enough time has passed now for them to advance, and I want them to be like historians / writers. So like you've got to travel these mountain ranges to get to the horny boys who
Who based
Just go seek wisdom from the top of their mountain.
yes.
and probably based on where they are, they were unaffected by all of the climate change and
So
all
they
of
might
the
still remember the old world.
They might still
They've
recall
seen
the
it.
original world and the clash of the gods.
but they would have been they wouldn't have been as advanced back then, so the
Right.
records would be a little murky.
a little skewed because it's all from like seeing it, and they were even so like
Right, 'cause that's like
in their evolution.
pre-civilization.
That's before even they're communicating with one another. So
Right.
it's all
It's pre-civilization.
pre-civilization, everything. So they they saw it, but how they've communicated that, they've had a really hard time. So they've all kind of come to an understanding of a base history of the planet. So the horny boys really know what's going on, and I would say that any other civilizations on what did Testicoolio?
Testicoolio.
Yeah, would seek the horny boys for advice on how to live. So, and they historians and writers, and almost like monks, almost.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're horny boy monks.
So similar to the Greybeards on Skyrim,
but horny.
but horny.
Yeah.
So to
and
get
slanted
their
eyes.
you have to like jerk them off to get their wisdom.
But I actually think it has nothing to do with the sexual nature, and that's what they get really frustrated about with,
Oh, so that
with
makes them
everyone.
angry.
Because they're tourists that visit them all the time looking for all this like sex advice, and they're like, "No, we have horns on our heads.
Yeah, all
That's
my
why we're
little
the horny
swimmers
boys."
are always up there trying to get their attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they have a hard time like actually communicating because they can't really swim up onto the land.
Yeah, they just
Right.
like get up there and they're like, "Come on, man! I thought I had to." They're like, no, that's not what this is at all.
So yeah, they're horny boy monks, and they hold the records of the catastrophe that was Mean Gene's devastation. Wonderful.
he's
I love
wearing
how Austin just went into like
He's-
sketch mode.
Full artistic mode.
he's wearing glasses and he's got a robe on because
Yeah.
he's a monk and he's a satyr.
Yes,
I drew them like this.
exactly.
It's words.
It's words. I drew them with words.
All I'm seeing, Tiny, is a vagina and banana.
All right, so that's going to be all 10 of my points that I'm using. Never mind, but I'm going to use them because I'm going to create a sub race of the aqua goats, where the two have joined.
So interbreeding between the horny
Oh,
goat
no.
boys
And the little swimmers.
and the little swimmers.
So
Yes.
little horny swimmers.
Yes, basically you've got a Capricorn. You've got the Capricorn symbol out in the water. You've got your fish-like features and your goat-like features. They've got 4 hooves, and they've got a fish-like tail that comes off of them. So they're able to both go on the land when possible, or they can go even up into the mountainous terrain, or they can swim if necessary with their fishtail.
Well, where do they live?
Anywhere they want to, because they're a subrace.
Oh, they're nomadic.
Yes. They're a nomadic tribe of people.
So they can live in the water and on the land?
Yes. Who are also a part of the first order of the civilization.
Hold on, what are we calling these people? The little horny swimmers or something?
Actually, no, because they adhere to the very strict rules that Mean Gene set out for them in the beginning times.
That they'll get a whipping if they don't copulate.
And they're very strict in their nature, and they're very stiff in their appearance because they're very straightforward and very serious about everything, and they call themselves the Stiffies.
Stiffies.
The Stiffies, that's what they're called?
Yep.
So you created an order.
I created a subrace and an order. All of the subrace belongs.
The order is the Stiffies.
The order is the Stiffies.
Okay.
Yeah, the order is the Stiffies.
and that's Mean Gene's like official religion.
Worshippers, yeah, the Stiffies.
Stay hard.
Yeah.
So I've got 34 points to dump into this bish. And the first thing I'm going to do is activate my cell phone. And I'm going to spend 5 points to shape land. Between the two masses, I'm going to make a little island.
There are 3 masses and a mountain.
Between
range.
the two big masses, there's a little island up here. I'm shaping that in there.
Okay.
Okay. And on this island lives a race. They're half bull, half man. They're minotaurs.
Okay.
They call themselves the Cleat Oruses.
So, where are they located on this land, on the land masses again? Here, show me where they're
Up here between the kidney beans on this little island that I created.
Oh, this new place that I don't
Yes.
have on my map.
Yes, this new place that I created.
The Cleat Oruses.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to advance them to where they're establishing trade routes to the little swimmers, the horny boys, and the order of the Stiffies with their nomadic nature. So basically, they're like trading gods. You know, they,
Okay.
You need it, they got it. They got you, boo.
I would assume their island is probably the most wealthy of any
It
on
is.
this whole.
It is.
Okay.
It's the smallest, but the wealthiest.
Right.
Cool.
Well, this is also just kind of the birth of civilizations.
Yeah.
So it's like there's not even really major cities quite yet, but
Right,
you're
right,
still
right.
like a trade between tribal peoples
Yeah.
starts to build up, and then that's when the city would start to build up.
Yes.
See, you would have the most resources because you're the one gathering everything from all these different
Right.
peoples for things they need.
And they have actually named their little island up
Okay.
here, okay? They've named it Tabitha. Wait, hold on. Yeah, no. I'm going to create an avatar
Uh-huh.
that's going to live in the city of Thabita. And it's essentially going to be like a pope,
Okay.
like a
You
battle
said the
pope.
city.
Yeah.
Is there a
Their
creation?
island is the city. They have a pope. He's very warlike.
Oh,
War Pope?
a warmonger pope?
Yeah.
I mean, that was what the Crusades were. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
So what's the order called?
warmongering popes.
Yeah.
The order of the Quimberly. Quimberly gentlemen. So that's what the Pope is over, the order of the Quimberly gentlemen. And he's very warlike, and he wants to conquer the little swimmers and the horny boys and the nomadic stiffies. He's already with the Cleat Oruses because he is a Cleat Orus, and he's just angry. He's an angry boy. He's spicy. He's a spicy hot boy. And he wants to rule the world, and he's trying to expand into the left side over here. And so there'll be a sub race over here called the Labians.
I hate you.
Over here on this continent?
Yeah, on the left side. And they're gonna be on 4 legs instead of 2. Because somehow he's done some bad things with their bloodlines. And
they're just four-legged. They're Cleatorians that walk on four legs.
yeah.
But
my avatar is still not there as well.
right,
We have to do one thing at the end of this, though.
What's that?
Got to ring the bell to make it canon.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So we need to do something like, now it's canon.
And I hope that everybody has enjoyed the building of the world of Testicoolio.
I guess is that the original name of the
I think
planet?
that's what it's called. I
That
think
was
we've
the
called it
original place.
the original the world of Testicoolio, and the orders of the Quimbley gentlemen with the warlike pope, and the Labians living on La Via Majora. The tiny swimmers, the stiffies.
And the horny mountain boys.
Don't you dare
Yeah.
try to give them an OTPHJ.
I feel like this is like the what was those little the monkeys that you could get in the water? What
Sea
were those called?
monkeys?
The sea monkeys. I feel like we've just made kind of like a sea monkey situation to where we've just put all this out there, and now it's up to all of them in these places to make something of it.
Right. Well, and it sounds like wars are brewing with old the Quimberley gentlemen over there. Sounds
Yeah.
like they're gonna cause a maybe the first war of the world.
And if they think that they're the superior race to everybody,
The majestic order of the Quimberley gentlemen.
they're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to go up against the belt wielding stiffies.
This sounds like some kind of bondage deal that's about to happen.
Hey, I didn't choose the world. The world chose me.
the little swimmers will not live in bondage.
And me as a god of this world, I am just a watcher. I do not have an avatar. I am a watcher.
Well, I only came just because.
So you're a
Gross.
voyeur.
Jealousy of Mean Gene.
Yeah, I came out of pure jealousy, but then didn't do anything about it. I just let him try to beat me with his whip.
Belt.
Well, before we proceed, there's one thing we must do, and that's
Yes.
Yeah,
Canonized.
Maybe it's something
Testicoolio.
maybe it's something we'll return to at some point.
Yeah. Just like how everyone else should return to our podcast at some point. Thank you for joining us on Spotify and iTunes and whatever else you're listening to us on. Soon to probably will be listening to us on Asylum Radio Network, which Asylum Network Radio?
Asylum Radio Network.
Asylum Radio Network. We should be on there soon, where they are going to make us their morning show here pretty soon, which is very exciting. We'll be giving you more information on that as it comes to fruition. And while you're on iTunes, give us a rating if you can of 5 stars. That would be wonderful. Or the the majestic order of the Quimberley gentlemen they're probably going to conquer everything else on this planet.
We must stop
We
them.
must stop them, or at least halt their
We
progress.
need a savior.
Yes. And it could be you if you give us 5 stars. And even on Spotify, you can rate us now, which is fantastic. So if you could pop on there, it's super easy. Just on the left side, right below our album art, you can click that and give us 5 stars, and it'd be wonderful. Also, there is a link to Teespring where you can get some merchandise with our logo and some stuff from the show on it. And it's all not crazy expensive, and it's pretty neat stuff. So I'm excited to see someone just randomly on the street one day wearing our podcast on their body, and that is a small dream.
And if you want to have a platform to talk to us about the stiffies combating the people from La Via Majora, go ahead and let us know what kind of damage you think that we'll do to those Labians with those stiffies on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. By searching at Nerd Grapevine or being on the Patreon, and you can look up Best Friends period Tiny Ink period, give a little bit of money, get a holographic Nerded Through the Grapevine sticker, and be able to unlock future content that we do not have out for everybody yet. You will get first dibs. But just if you get first dibs, don't be a spoiling bastard. Otherwise, that might take your friends that haven't seen it and cause a little bit of...
The Cleatorises are known for their ticklish skin, so be sure to go and tickle them on our Discord. It's a great time. Sometimes we watch movies together, and we can just hang out and swap memes and just have a wonderful time.
You're an idiot.
Well, fellow deities,
Yes.
when the Cosmic Grapevine bestows upon you grapes, Tiny,
Tickle the clitoris
With the grapes?
with the grapes.
How does that work?
Yeah, how does that
You
work?
you take the grape and you just rub it on them, just like, oh yeah, boy, you like that.
And then you
they're
got
like,
these
"Oh."
you got these giant minotaurs now looking at you because you're touching fruit to them, and they're
they're becoming monotars.
They are.
How do you turn them?
Just don't do it to the Labians. They will eat you.
We're the worst gods to ever exist.
I feel sorry for this new world.